Hello, I am Gene Cobb, Safety Director for ABC Greater Baltimore.
And I'm Joe Xavier. Thank you for participating in this short Toolbox talk about understanding COVID-19 and the safety precautions we have for you, our essential heroes.
As you will learn in this Toolbox talk, two most important things is to maintain 6 feet apart and to remember to wear your mask while at work.
Thank you for your service. While other people were on a stay-at-home order, you continued to work. While others were non-essential, you were resilient in moving forward. And when others were shut down, you found a way to get the job done. Thank you for being our unsung heroes.
Let's talk about what COVID-19 is not. It's not a gas or vapor, an insect or bug bite. It's not 5G energy or radiation. It's not a corrosive material that infects through the skin. And it's not a poison when eaten. And it's also not an unknown force.
We know exactly what COVID-19 is. It's primarily, in very simple terms, a respiratory disease. And it spreads through the droplets in the air that come out of people's lungs. So think about COVID-19 as a particle. It's a virus that is a particle that travels inside of a respiratory droplet. So one of the things that we want to do is keep the respiratory droplets from getting into the air. So anytime you talk or laugh or eat or sing, or sometimes even breathing, obviously sneezing or coughing, respiratory droplets from inside your lungs get into the air. And if those droplets contain COVID-19, they could possibly infect other people. So we have two goals. Our first goal is that we want to stop droplets from getting into the air. And secondly, we want to stop droplets from getting into your lungs.
Goal number 1, stop droplets from getting into the air. Facial coverings, including homemade cloth masks, offer the best protection. If you have to cough or sneeze, make sure you cover your cough or sneeze in the crook of your elbow or inner elbow. And of course, stay home if you are sick and not feeling well. Minimize eating, talking, yelling, etc.
Our second goal is to stop droplets from getting into your lungs or getting into other people's lungs. So we have a whole series of things we can do for social distancing, also known as physical distancing. That's where you want to stay at least 6 feet apart from one another. The studies have shown from the CDC that respiratory droplets can travel as far as 6 feet and land on people, or they could get into the breathing zone of other people, which they could breathe it in and then they could become infected. Or they could land on things like your tools or your phone or doorknobs, or even things as simple as pens and pencils. So we also want to avoid sharing tools as much as possible, or phones or equipment, materials, papers, pens and pencils as much as possible. Some other things we can do to minimize droplets from getting from one person to another is to avoid touching your face, especially if your hands are unclean. Speaking about clean, you want to wash your hands with soap and water frequently throughout the day. And if soap and water are not available, you can use sanitizer as an alternative. And lastly, you want to make sure that we clean and sanitize those common touch surfaces. So if you do have to share tools, or if you do have to touch a doorknob, we want to make sure that those common touch surfaces are being cleaned and sanitized frequently.
If you have any questions or comments, please contact your company's safety director or safety manager. Make sure you adhere to your company's policies. Be sure to check in with CDC regularly to make sure that there's not an update. Thank you for your time, attention, and participation from ABC Greater Baltimore and Chesapeake Employers Insurance.
And remember, we are all heroes in this together. And together is the only way through it.